If you're ever lighting a scene using exclusively Maya lights, the spotlight is the light you are probably going to work with. The spotlight is a directional caster. It starts at this point in the cone, and it moves in the direction of the cone and takes on the shape of the cone. Just like with the Arnold area light, I can look through selected and use that to aim my light. I will give myself a little angle there. Panels, perspective, perspective will take me back to the perspective view. You can see that this hasn't done too much for my render. It's still very dark, but if you look closely, you can see just the faintest hint of a spotlight there. Over in my spotlight attributes, I can adjust intensity and color, and down here in the Arnold tab, I can also adjust my exposure. And now I can see what the spotlight is actually doing, and you'll see that it is creating a little round disk of light. The disk of light is controlled by 3 attributes up here in the spotlight attributes. One is the cone angle. The cone angle determines how big or small that cone of light is. The second one is the penumbra angle. The penumbra angle controls this edge of the light. When the penumbra angle is set to 0, this edge is completely hard. As I change the size of the penumbra, I will change the softness of the edge. Here's a fun thing. The penumbra angle can either be negative or positive. A positive penumbra expands to the outside of the cone angle, and a negative penumbra expands to the inside of the cone angle. When I was your age, we didn't have area lights. We pretty much only had spotlights, and as a lighting designer, one of the things you had to remember was that a negative penumbra was going to give you greater accuracy than a positive penumbra, because the positive penumbra goes outside of the light's area of effect, and a negative penumbra goes to the inside. So we always had to adjust our penumbras to a negative degree, which ensured that the cone angle would always be accurate. And if I move my screen a little bit so we can see that spotlight, one of the things I want you to see is that as I adjust the cone angle, the shape of the light itself is actually changing, which is pretty neat. The third attribute that I've got is drop-off. And what drop-off does is it controls the intensity from the center of the spotlight's area of effect out to the cone angle. I will set my penumbra back to 0. Drop-off starts at 0, and as I adjust it, you should see again that the light is softening, and in this case it will always soften to the inside of the cone angle. As my drop-off area gets more intense, you'll see that the light appears to shrink. What's happening is that the edges are weakening, they're darkening. So generally what we used to do was use a little bit of drop-off and then some negative penumbra, and you could get yourself a nice, soft, natural-looking light. That's what makes the spotlight the workhorse of the Maya lights, and you'll see them all the time, and they'll all have a similar setup. Again, the important things to remember with the spotlight are the cone angle, penumbra, and drop-off. You can also adjust exposure just like you would with an Arnold light. I am going to delete my spotlight from the scene, pause the video, and when I get back I will discuss the Maya area light, and that will be the final Maya light for this unit.